Yes. Yeah. Good evening, all. So before I start, can one please confirm whether my voice is clear, where the screen is visible or not? Yes.
Yes, I can hear you and screen is visible. Thank you.
Fine. Thank you. So we had a small introductory session yesterday about this Azure data engineering. Let us have a quick review what we have discussed yesterday, right? Just for 5 minutes. So cloud majorly utilized for storing, analyzing, and delivering data in various form. So on-premises databases as compared with this cloud, right? We need to set up our own hardware infrastructure. On top of that, OS installation, purchasing database license, and installation of database server, designing database objects, right? So to maintain all this, we require separate teams like hardware team, like operating system team, networking team, security team, database administrators, right? Required. So data engineers, with the help of all these cloud services, they work on the data and make it structured and useful. Data engineers, they're responsible for smooth data flow from the source to destination. Data engineers responsible in preparing the data, cleansing the data, and transforming data, and this processing the data. So generally, it's a like a difference between this data engineer, data scientist, and analyst. Data scientist strategizes for the future is good, and data analyst summarizes the past. Data scientist analyzes the data, identify the patterns, recommendations for the future. Data analyst summarizes the past, analyze the data, and visualizing the data of the past. Right? Data engineer does all the groundwork for data scientist and data analyst. Nearly 80% of the data analysis work is done by data engineer. Data engineering involves what are the sources of the data, what is the format of the data, and how to transform data, and what is the destination of the data, that is the target. Sources of data, format of the data, how to transform data, what is the destination of the data. See, and why Azure data engineer? Why Azure data engineer and why Azure data engineering demand means generally, if you talk about in any company, this Azure data engineer, we will be having data engineer, data scientists. Generally, first data engineer, right, is going to create a data warehouse for the organization. So storage and structured for storing and structured data. So it contains data from various sources. Data engineer structures the data, stores it, and monitors it in this data warehouse, and is going to communicate with the data scientist to understand the data requirements, communicating with the business team to know the business requirements of the organization, right? He has to keep in mind the business, he has to keep in mind the business needs when dealing with the data in the mind. So the data scientist, they are going to the data later the data scientists they will create insights from the processed data. Okay, fine. Data engineer, they keep on constantly processing and analyzing and monitoring the data. The main responsibility data of data engineer creating pipeline through which the data is integrated, with all the crucial stages of the data flow, What are the main roles of Azure data engineer? What are the main roles of Azure data engineer, right? Yes. I said designing the data flow architecture, Means your how from the starting from the source to the destination, how the data is going to flow, and creating a data warehouse for storing the data. ETL, extracting, transforming, and loading. This ETL is the main task of Azure Data Engineer. It's going to extract data from various sources, and after extracting, he has to transform it into structured form, and later you need to load into this company storage service, and later they are evaluated by the data scientist. And data monitoring, make sure that the data is available everywhere. Data security, to check whether there are no data leaks or data exposures. At each step of the process, there should not be any leak or exposures. Responsibility of data engineers and collaboration and communication, communicating with the business teams and the data scientists to check with the data requirements. Analytics, they need to have some analytics. They need to have some knowledge of analytics, right? Yes. Perform some kind of analysis. Some some tasks need to be automated. Some tasks need to be automated, right? They require some minimal human intervention, such as extraction. Azure data engineering products. Discussing about data engineering products. Azure SQL, Azure Data Lake, Azure Synapse Analytics, Azure Data Factory, Azure Databricks, Azure Cosmos, Azure Streaming, Azure Key Vault. Just Azure SQL, right? It's a cloud RDBMS. It's a cloud RDBMS database of Microsoft in Azure. It is performing OLTP operations, day-to-day operations, transactions, right? All the transactions stored within this. Azure Data Lake, some distributed file system, a distributed file system with unlimited storage in cloud, that is Azure Data Lake. It is a file system. So in previously, like in talk about Hadoop, HDFS, on-premises distributed file system. But in Azure Data Lake, cloud distributed file system. It is a repository for large varieties of structured, semi-structured, and unstructured data. See, every cloud data lake, every cloud data lake provides some benefits. One is unlimited data storage. One is unlimited data storage. Every cloud data lake provides some benefits. Provides some benefits. Here, three benefits provided. Three benefits are provided. First thing, unlimited data storage. Unlimited data storage. Secondly, supports all varieties of data. Supports all varieties of data. All varieties of data means structured, semi-structured, unstructured. Structured means Excel files, DB tables. Semi-structured like XML, JSON. Unstructured like short messages, images, videos, all this it comes. Supports all formats of data. Supports all formats of data. All formats of data means all formats of data like .txt, .csv, .tar, .zip, .gzip, any type of file format. all formats of data it is going to support. But here data is in the form of files. Here in Azure Data Lake, data will be in the form of files. If they are in the files, you cannot make relationship. You cannot set relationship between the files. For example, you have got files like this. emp.txt file is there. dpt.txt file is there. Attendance.txt is there. Salaries.txt is there. We cannot set up relations using primary key or foreign key. If they are tables, okay, you can set. But for the files, you cannot set up relationship. But if you have got a tables like, you have got tables like orders table, sales table, sales transactions is there, customers, products. These are some tables. For files, you cannot maintain relationship. Here, what is the relationship between the tables? These four tables, what is the relationship? For example, order of what? Order of what? Order for a product. Product, right? Product table. Booked for whom? Booked for whom? Hmm. A customer. A customer. So in relation with this products and the customer. Next, this order is there. Once order confirmed. Once order confirmed. As a transaction. As a transaction. Understand here? Order. Order of what? Order of what? Product. Product booked for whom? Customer. This customer, once he has confirmed the transaction, right? So I'm expecting a RDBMS. What I'm expecting? I'm expecting a cloud RDBMS. A cloud RDBMS. The two used for data warehouse. The two used for data warehouse. The two I'm expecting parallel processing. There is nothing but Azure Synapse. Azure Synapse. There is nothing but Azure Synapse Analytics. Expecting Cloud RDBMS used for data warehouse. I'm expecting parallel processing and that too. Azure Synapse and there's nothing but Azure Synapse Analytics. Yesterday, just have given overview of what this Azure Synapse Analytics, right? What is this Azure Synapse? Azure Synapse. The Cloud RDBMS, that too for data warehouse, for analytics, for batch processing, for parallel processing. So here we have a database. Here we have a database. Azure Synapse. Azure Synapse. SQL Pool DB. SQL pool DB, right? Yes. Nothing but Synapse DB we say. Nothing but Synapse DB we say, right? Yes. What is Synapse DB? What is Synapse DB? It's a kind of cloud data warehouse of Azure, right? Data lake, Azure Synapse. Azure Data Lake and Azure Synapse. See, Azure Synapse, most of the cases, when to go for Azure Synapse, if data is in the structured form, refer it. Azure Data Lake. If data is unstructured and semi-structured, go for this. If data is unstructured and semi-structured, go for this. Now, when to go for data, what is data factory? Azure Data Factory, right? Yes. Yes. Okay. Azure Data Factory. It's a cloud-based ETL of Microsoft in Azure. It's a zero coding ETL. It acts as a data integration, right? For example, today if you're doing a transaction, tomorrow it is an history. So all these transactions, all transactions captured at OLTP systems, all transactions captured at OLTP systems, like the databases. How to bring these transactions? How to bring these transactions? Into warehouse system. We have ETL. Already. If you are aware about this ETL, what are the ETL tools? By using ETL tools, we want to bring the transactions into warehouse. We have got ETL tools. What are the ETL tools? Example like Informatica, data stage, talent, all this, whatever, all this, right? We have got all this, but all these are on premise ETL tools. But I need a ETL. But what I'm expecting, but I need a ETL on cloud. ETL on cloud. That is what ADF. That is what ADF. Generally using ADF, you can connect with anything. We can connect with, I already said it's a zero coding ETL. No coding is involved. Everything drag and drop, and we are just going to provide the connection. We can connect with using ADF, can connect with cloud databases, connect with cloud databases. So don't worry about this kind of practical part of this. It is going to, you can work with free trial, Azure free trial. Azure is going to provide you free subscription. Some services are lifetime free. Some services are for 1 year, they are free. Some are for 1 month, it is free. It is going to provide you $200 worth credits are going to be added. Means nearly like 16,700 worth credits are going to get added to your account, which you can use it within 1 month time. Otherwise, they will be expired. Cloud databases, non-cloud databases, NoSQL databases. So ADF can connect with the cloud, non-cloud, NoSQL databases. We can extract the data and pump the data into data lake or the Synapse and perform transformations, right, using this area. Previously, some process were taking huge time. Now we get the results, right, in less time. See here, if I talk, here it is ETL. Here it is ETL. But our working style, ELT, ELT, extract, load, transform. Extract, load, transform. ETL. Generally ETL for small volumes. For small volumes of data. ELT. ELT, right? For huge volumes of data. So yes. Now coming to this Databricks. So mainly deals with, so here Databricks with the PySpark. So here I don't know with the other training sites, but here Databricks with the PySpark is going to be covered, right? With Spark. Very high. See, generally before I go with Azure Databricks, what is a Databricks? Normal Databricks. What is Databricks? Provides a cluster. The two provides what cluster? Spark cluster. What do you mean by a cluster? Group of systems, group of nodes connected in a network. Group of systems, CPUs connected in a network. Your data is going to be distributed across multiple systems and processed by multiple systems. That's why we see very high speed here. What is a Spark? What is a Spark? So before I go with this Azure Databricks with PySpark, I'll be giving you the knowledge on this. some basic knowledge of this Hadoop, Spark, these things before I go with the practicals of it, right? So generally, up to now, what we had a discussion, right? Yes. See, cluster, just in a simple way, cluster. So master slave architecture, master and slave architecture, system 1, system 2, system 3, so on, a number of systems will be there. This we call it as master or the driver. This we call it as master or the driver. These are all we call it as slaves or workers. See, this entire thing we call like a cluster. A cluster. Within the cluster, CPUs, systems are connected in a network. One will be the master, remaining all will be the slaves. So your data is going to be your data, your whatever your data, right? Is going to be divided into smaller parts, data divided into smaller parts. Each part will be stored across multiple systems and are processed parallelly. That's why very high speed you are going to see. Right? Yes. Very high speed. Means your data is executed by multiple systems, not by single systems. So Databricks provides that kind of Spark cluster in the cloud. Spark, very fast. It is a very fast. It is Spark. It is a very high speed processing execution model. High speed, very high speed. It is a very high speed processing execution model. Execution model, right? If we talk about the Spark features, first thing is it is in-memory computation, in-memory computation. In-memory computation means data storing within the memory level, data processing within the memory level, because of which very high speed you are going to achieve. Very high rate of speed, right? Yes. Supports MPP, massive parallel process. Massive parallel process, right? See, there was many tests done. See, Yahoo has conducted a test to check the speed, right? It has taken a table of 100 TV consisting of 1024 columns. The task was sorting based on 16 columns. Sorting based on 16 columns. Time taken by different databases. Time taken by different databases. First one like Oracle. To handle this data has taken nearly 3.5 days to process this. MySQL has taken nearly 6 days. Teradata, a specialized database used for data warehouse, right, has just taken 4.5 hours. Netija is taken 3 hours of time. And finally, there is a Hadoop, big data Hadoop has taken minutes of time, 3.4 minutes. It has taken 3.4 minutes, where this has taken days of time. Specialized databases like Teradata and Netija has taken hours of time. Hadoop has taken just minutes of time. Minutes of time. But Spark is 100 times faster than Hadoop. Spark is 100 times faster than Hadoop. Now see the speed of Spark. Very high speed processing, huge data it is going to process in quick time. So very fast, very high speed processing execution model to process a big data with high speed. So it is for Spark, who is providing the cluster? Databricks is providing the cluster. Cluster will have multiple systems, nodes. If more systems, more speed. Less systems, less speed. Just like if I take labor example, for a building construction, they're bringing 50 labors, the work will be very fast. They're bringing 5 labors, the work will be less. If only one labor, one after the other, he has to perform the task. No parallelism, no parallel process. So in the same way here, assume we have 500 nodes. Assume we have 500 nodes. This 500 nodes is worthy processing 2 dB data, 2 dB of data at a time. So this 500 nodes cluster is worthy processing 2 TB of data at a time. For example, tomorrow your data has increased. Assume tomorrow your data volume increased. If I use the same cluster, if same cluster is used, what you observe? If same cluster is used, speed goes down, right? Speed goes down, right? Because same cluster, but more data increased. So what you need to do? Whenever, see, generally, for example, a labor example, just check this. If you're running a business with a small cluster, right? Think that like 10 systems. Tomorrow, like your data increased, means your customers increased, your branches increased, means you should also increase the slave systems, right? If your data increased by, if your customers increased by 100 times, if your data increased by 1,000 times, you cannot go with the same number of systems or slaves. We need to scale up horizontally. You should keep on increasing. But that is commissioning and decommissioning, what we say that we do in this on premises. If same cluster is used, speed goes down. So what you need to do, you need to scale up. So we need to scale up. By adding new nodes. We need to scale up the cluster by adding new nodes. Assume 100 nodes added. Assume 100 nodes added. After 2 months, again, data increased. Again, after 2 months, again 100 nodes, 100 systems. Nodes means systems. 100 nodes added as data increased to achieve the speed. But every time, whenever the data is increasing, you cannot keep on doing like this. Every time, scaling up. The physical data center is a complex task. It's a complex task. So that's why I need the same cluster. I need the same cluster. So I need the same cluster in cloud, and that too with auto scaling capability. With auto scaling capability, right? Yes. Who is providing this? Who is providing this? Databricks. Databricks provides the cluster with auto scaling capability. So if I say Databricks, provides a Spark Cloud cluster, with auto scaling, feature, right? With auto scaling feature. For example, if I give a labor example for this. Today, my data load requires 100 nodes. Tomorrow, data volume increased. It has to be extended. See, my data load requires 100. Tomorrow, data volume increased. It has to be extended to 200 automatically. Again, after processing is finished. After processing, after processing is completed, again, it has to revert. Again, it has to revert back to 100 nodes. Again, it has to revert back to 100 nodes. This is general Databricks. But it cannot interact. With all my Azure storage services. Just now I discussed about the Azure storage services, sir. Azure storage services are what? Azure storage services. Azure SQL, Azure Data Lake, Azure Synapse, so regular Databricks is not compatible with all my Azure services. Regular Databricks is not compatible with all my Azure services. That's why Microsoft and Databricks. So Microsoft and Databricks collaboratively, right, launched a new product. called Azure Databricks. Azure Databricks. So Azure Databricks, it's a Spark cluster with auto scaling and compatible with all the Azure storage services. For normal Databricks, we need to do some other kind of settings. So Databricks not only available for Azure, it's also available for AWS and for Google. So in all this, who is processing the data? Spark, very high speed processing technology, right? Okay. Generally, to execute a Spark, we need a cluster, that too with auto scaling feature, compatible with Azure storage services, that are all provided by this Azure Databricks. And say if Spark is an execution weapon, if you are the developer, you provide the instructions to process the data in the form of coding and to perform complex transformations. Right? Yes. Fine. So, and if just I was briefing you about these components, right? So this one. Azure SQL, it's a cloud RDBMS. Data Lake, it's a distributed file system of Azure. Synapse Analytics, kind of analytics we perform. It's a kind of RDBMS for data warehouse, for analytics, for batch processing. Azure Data Factory, it's a cloud, it's a simple way, it's a cloud ETL, cloud-based ETL. Azure Databricks, the Spark-based data analytics platform. Cosmos DB, it's a NoSQL, cloud NoSQL. So cloud-based NoSQL. Azure Streaming for streaming data, for processing high streams of streaming data. The streaming data means data which keeps on generating, data which keeps on incrementing, and securing data or protecting your data in the cloud. Azure keyword. This is what the basic. Just I'm going the overview. I was giving you the overview of this Azure engineering products, right?
Sir, quick question.
Yes.
Until Microsoft and Databricks combined together, launching the Azure Databricks, what about the Databricks before that? I mean, like, are they third-party company? They are not collaborated with Microsoft before.
See, Databricks is separate. Previously, it was separate, and
Okay.
it is going to provide Spark cluster. It was going to execute. Later, those two got collaborated, and they have got it's compatible with all the services of this Azure, right? Yes.
Okay.
So what's the difference between Azure Databricks and Azure Data Factory? So when we should go with Azure Data Factory for creating a ETL pipeline, and when we should go with Azure Databricks for creating ETL pipelines?
Yes, yes. Good query, right? Yes. So generally, in ADF, we have got data flows. In ADF version 1, there was no data flows concept. In ADF version 1, we used to write a lot of, it should be a lot of, you need to have a lot of knowledge to perform that operations. But in ADF version 2, it was made very simpler and easier. No coding involved, nothing, everything, you are just drag and drop. Data flows were introduced, Power Queries were introduced, all those many concepts you got in ADF version 2. And that too, the concept of data flows, we perform transformations, inbuilt transformations, many transformations are there. So all this, when data flows are submitted, internally they are converted into Databricks jobs and executed. ADF data flows, totally in ADF we work with data flows. In that, whenever you submit it, they are converted into Databricks jobs and executed. We don't need to write the Databricks code. Internally, they get converted. Execution is not done by ADF. Execution is done by Databricks. You may ask, why again separate developer required for Databricks? When ADF is internally converting into Databricks job and executing everything, why again a separate developer required for Databricks? So initially, whenever you are going to the company, you can go as a ADF developer, you can go as Databricks developer. But Databricks, right? To develop, but some things which you cannot do using ADF. There are some things, right? Working with some graph data, streaming data, this kind of things you cannot do using ADF. So to develop this custom functionalities, we require Databricks developer. If data is totally structured, if all my structured operations, generally you can go with ADF. But if data is in the unstructured, and if you got some graph data or this streaming kind of data, right? We need to write some Databricks code. So such kind of analytics, we need to go for Databricks. Okay, fine. So Databricks in ADF, I said there is no kind of coding involved. Once again, I'm saying no coding, no prerequisites, nothing. ADF, you can easily update, and you can lot of jobs available in ADF also. Even if you not saying that you learn update with all the Azure data engineering, but initially you can get into the company if you want a job. If you want to get into the company as a ADF developer, you can go. Lot of transformations you'll be learning everything without coding, but later you can also, when you like as a Databricks developer for complex transformations operations, we'll be writing code for this Azure Databricks. Basic Python is required. Basic Python language is required. We'll be writing some Python. We'll be writing some notebooks. We'll be developing notebooks, right? So some basic Python knowledge is required. In this course, Azure Data Factory is the first component I'm going to discuss in brief. For the first 40 days, I'll be discussing with Azure Data Factory. I'll come to Azure Databricks next. Along with the Databricks, I'm going to provide you the knowledge on PySpark, Spark with Python implementation. Mostly today, like Spark can be coded, Spark can be implemented in multiple languages like Scala, Python, Java, odd language, but mostly used one today like Python, right? That's why we go with PySpark. So that also I'm going to cover. You can check with other training sites. So we're along with the Databricks with PySpark and Synapse analytics. That is what I'll be discussing, right? So duration of this course will be around 3 months to 3.5 months. So if anyone wants like unable to spend for 3.5 months, right? You can parallelly after 1 week or 2 weeks of ADF, any Databricks batch starts, you can also attend parallelly like ADF, Azure. You can attend the things parallelly to decrease the time, right? So as I'll be dealing with the things, right, you will be allowed further to go parallelly. You'll be understanding it, right? So everything clearly step by step I'll be showing you. Even that subscription onwards, it's a free subscription given by Azure to work with that. So how step by step how you can do it, everything I'll be showing you. Later, going to the practical part, how we are going to perform the things step by step, everything clearly. All the sessions will be interactive sessions. You will be in unmuted status. At any point, you can ask any query through voice or through chat. So clear notes will be provided for all this. The notes will be very much clear. So even everyone with non-programming background, everyone will understand whatever we are discussing, right? So, and the session videos also you are going to get. Session videos also you'll be getting, right? Yes. Every day, the session video you'll be getting to the Google Drive. And the notes you'll be getting. A WhatsApp group will be created for having a direct interaction with the students, right? So if any errors, you can take the snap of the error and post in the WhatsApp group. Anybody can be answering. I'll be answering this. All right. Any
Is
other?
it a fixed time, the same time every day?
Yeah. About the timing, let me make it clear about the timing, right? So for the initial 2 weeks, it will be at 6 p.m. Later, it will be at 5 p.m. As requested, as said by the students, as they got a lot of them have got meetings from 6 to 7, right? So that's the reason. For the first 2 weeks, it will be at 6 p.m. Later, it will be at 5 p.m., 5 to 6. So I'm making it clear before you go with the payments, right, about the timing. So everything will be cleared, everything will be dealt very much clear, all the things. Step by step we'll be discussing. If you are doing the practicals the day itself, everything will be simple and easier. Everything you'll be understanding. Right? Fine. And
Could you
people, if you are speed enough, you can do parallelly along with me. The practicals, what do you do? Yes, you can do parallelly along with me also during the sessions for the practicals. For getting the outputs, if anyone getting the error, you can just share the screen where the errors occurs, right? There are some many errors they occur during this process. I'll be saying some why that error will occur. Compulsory, we need to do some kind of settings we need to do to overcome those kind of errors. I'll be showing you that those kind of errors. Many errors you'll be coming across creation of this many other things. So how to overcome those and what are the settings we need to do. Otherwise, if you're not doing with the setting compulsory, you will come across the errors, right? Yes. That everything along, I'll also be discussing the errors that you come across. Right? Yes. Fine.
Sir, could you kindly share the notes or video end of this, please? Yesterday's and today's.
Yeah, 1 second. Can you check right? The online team, DurgaSoft online team, they have posted a message, a big message. In that message, you can see the contents, right? Course content you can see. Yesterday's video also you can be able to see. Are you able to see the demo video of yesterday, right?
Okay.
In the Zoom chat. Once again, I'm posting. If you are not, you can see the demo video now.
Yeah. And okay, sir. So what are
Notes
the notes?
Notes you'll be getting it. I'll be forwarding. 1 second. Notes. 1 second. Give me a second.
Okay, sir.
So 1 second. Notes every day I'll be posting the notes. 1 second. The same Zoom chart, you can see the notes also. 1 second. Yesterday's and today's, the entire notes I'm posting here. Now are you able to see in the chart, right? Yes. Are you able to see in the chart, right? ADE demo notes in the Zoom chat.
Yes, I can see that, sir. Thank you.
ADE demo 12th November, right? Yes, that is the notepad file. You can just download, everyone you can download, they can check with that notes. Yes.
Sir, I hope this course will be more practical, right? I mean, like going forward.
There is nothing theoretical. Only this first 1-2 days, what is that Azure, what are the services, these things. But once we enter into this session 2-3 onwards, there's nothing theoretical, everything practical.
Okay.
We'll be opening this Azure portal directly. We'll be going with the task 1, task 2, task 3. Nearly, if you go through the syllabus content, right? If you go to the nearly in ADF only, like nearly 50 exercises already mentioned in the syllabus, right? If you check it here. If this is the course content of ADF, and this can you see this ADF exercise? All this will be discussed practically.
Perfect.
Not okay. This nearly 50 exercises, practical exercises we'll be discussing throughout this ADF session, and this is the course content for ADF. And if you see, before I go with the Databricks, people, you might be not having the knowledge on Spark. So I'll be providing this knowledge on this Spark on big data. You'll be given knowledge on this big data. You will be given knowledge on Hadoop. You will be given knowledge on Spark before I go with Databricks, right? And also some knowledge on this cloud computing in Azure to the introduction to Databricks. And you can see all this cluster management utilities, Databricks utilities, database integrations, and the processing through Spark, Databricks batch processing. You can see that in brief, in depth, we will be discussing. The course content will be And Synapse Analytics also, we can see these things.
And do we go through practicals on Databricks and Synapse as well? Exercises.
See, one thing, it's not a theory subject, it's not an subject, like it's not an history subject, right? Everything, only the first 2-3 days, what is, what are the services, what are the roles of a Azure data engineer, what are the services in this, there will be, after that, everything will be practicals. You are going to develop pipelines. Every day we'll be defining, we'll be creating one task, we'll be doing one task, we'll be creating a pipeline, and we'll be working with that different transformations provided with this ADF.
So
See,
what
I'm saying, there won't be any kind of slides taken by me. Even in the demo session also, I can keep some colorful slides and everything. I can show, put up everything. There won't be any kind of slides bringing and showing you those things. Everything I'll be generating the notes. I'll be doing the practicals. So practicals means daily we'll be discussing about some different kind of transformations, pipelines here, pipelines, activities, all these things. And every day pipeline creation. The main role of Azure data engineer, that is ADF developer, creating pipelines. So daily we'll take one task and we'll take an activity and creating pipelines. How to create it step by step, I'll be showing you. Yes.
Yeah, how can I taken the subscription from Azure portal? Is there required for any credit card or Visa card?
Oh, yes. See, credit card. See, one credit card, email ID, phone number.
Okay.
These three things, and address,
Okay.
working address. Those things are enough. So, credit card is one credit card or debit card also fine. Debit card also fine. Debit card also
Oh.
accepted this.
Okay.
Okay, fine.
Yes.
So tomorrow, just I'm going to show you with the Azure free trial subscription. Azure free trial subscription, step by step, how you can create a free trial subscription, how you can have a free trial subscription and a resource group, and how you are going to add one by one resource of this ADF. In the next class, I'm going with the practical part. I'm going to show you how to create a data Azure data lake, how to create ADF instance, how to create Azure SQL instance. So making your resources ready to work with the tasks, right? Step by step. Before that, Azure subscription, free trial subscription. And within that, after that free trial subscription, and how we are going to get the instances of Azure SQL, Azure Data Lake, Azure ADF. Later, Databricks will be dealing with the Databricks later. First, these things. As part of our task, our source will be a data lake. Our target will be Azure SQL. So that's why first we require these things. ADF in the middle, source as data lake, target as Azure SQL, and ADF. These three required first. So we will be dealing with some kind of tasks with these things. Fine.
Are you covering data warehousing project end-to-end ETL pipeline using Azure services?
So at the last, I'll be showing you one flow, right? Everything, project flow.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
So tomorrow, just for the subscription things, right? Be your make your that is credit card handy during this process. Just hardly it takes 5 to 10 minutes for creating that Azure subscription to get that Azure subscription. Just to create one mail ID, a separate mail ID, Gmail ID, right? Just to create a separate mail ID, one phone number, one separate mail ID. I'm saying, which should not be already registered with Microsoft. It should not be registered with Microsoft. First time we are going. Why? Because to provide, if to get the free trial, it won't provide the free trial for everyone, right? To get all these things should be unique. So just take a new mail ID, create a mail ID. If you have got multiple mail IDs, if any one mail ID which is not registered with Microsoft, that mail ID you can take it and how to create and how to do all this tomorrow I'll be showing you, not in my system. In any one of your system, I'm going to show you. You will be sharing the screen. I'll be saying the process how you will do. Right. Okay, fine. I'm stopping here. We'll continue tomorrow at 6 o'clock, same time. So from tomorrow onwards, we'll be dealing with the practical part. I'll be starting with these things, right? So yesterday, today, I was briefing you about this Azure data engineering product services and the role of Azure data engineer. Right? Any other queries from your side? Anyone? Right.
No.
No,
Fine.
thank you.
Okay. So thank you for your time. Meet you tomorrow.